Shawnee. Welcome back. We're in the office today. I feel like I haven't been in my office in forever. I think it's been a while. Just with everyone traveling and all that stuff. Like, I've had mainly folks who are doing telehealth, virtual, but today I actually have people coming in, so time to get back into the office. And I am going to start doing my makeup. Now, during a previous video when I was talking about my favorite palettes, I mentioned that you could use the Koi and the Editorial Brights from Viseart together. So I figured, why don't I bring these? Just a reminder, this is the Editorial Brights. And then this is the Koi palette. So I figured I would use those today. And I always say that I don't have a primer for my eyes. I always forget it. And I've had one in my bag for quite some time. Okay, so I have some news stuff, but a lot of the news is kind of like, ugh, right now. But I have some stories that I have come across. This is the Sigma eyeshadow base primer in the shade Sorbet. This isn't one of my favorite ones of these. I prefer, like, there's a creamish one and I like that one better because I think this has a bit of shimmer. I'm not feeling like I need shimmer, but that's okay. Before we get into that though, there's been so much like change and like vicarious loss lately. Like, the owner of my jazzercise studio that I go to just suddenly died a couple of weeks ago, maybe like 4 weeks ago. So we've all been dealing with that. And then the instructors thought that they could keep the studio going, but we just found out this week that they can't. And so my jazzercise studio will be closing at the end of this month, and I have been going there forever. Okay, like forever. Some people have been going there for like 20-30 years. I've probably been going there for like 6 or 7, so it's been a while. And that is like I'm literally grieving because I am just sad that I won't get to see these people who have become like family. Like, I won't get to see them regularly. I would see them like 3 times a week at minimum. So I don't know. And they were like, well, you could switch to another studio, but I don't think I want to. Like, I feel like I have really connected with this studio and these people, and I know I could get to know other people in other studios, but I don't know. I don't think I can. Yeah, I just don't think I can. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick with yoga, but I do feel like I want something also like just more intense, like more cardio. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll get to the point of where I can move to another studio, but it's not looking good right now. Maybe I'll go into some of the purples. Or this isn't purple, but you know what I mean. So if I'm a little off kilter, that's one of the things. And then there was one of the teachers, their teenage son died in a tragic way. So it's just been like, oh my God, just been a lot, you know. Then there's my own family stuff. Like, it has been a lot. It has been a lot. But I'm very thankful for my friends, my therapist. Those people have been helpful. Shout out to Jessa, Tracy, Mary, Jan, Erica. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Oh, that's really pretty. So let's move on out of that, like, hole of sadness. But let me know if you've experienced something like that, where it's just like things are just like one after the other, pretty tough. This is really pretty. I really like this shade. And I like with Viseart mattes and all of their stuff, really, you can build things up, or you can keep it like relatively, not muted really, but softer, I guess. That's cute. Okay, y'all. So I have come across some interesting stories. Okay, so you know how if you have kids, you're in that time of the year where kids are going back to school or they've already gone back. And since I work with a lot of college students, you know, college students are coming back. Traffic is more intense. Like usually the first couple of weeks it is, and then people stop going to class and traffic is better. So I'm waiting for October for these kids to be like, I'm not going to class. But traffic is a little bit worse. Everything's a little bit more crowded. There's also craziness going on at these schools. And I was reading this story and I realized it was my undergrad that they were talking about. So when I was an undergrad, I went to Chapman University in Orange County, California. I was one of 3% Black people there. And I was a tour guide, you know, showing people the campus. First of all, I was amazing. I've probably mentioned this before. But we also used to have like 5-star tours, which is, you know, it's California, it's LA adjacent. So we would have people like celebrities coming in for tours, and those were our 5-star tours. And guess who was one of the requested people all the time? This guy. So I was a good tour guide, y'all. We got some intense training. We used to have to be up at like 5 in the morning to train to be a tour guide. We had to learn how to walk backwards. We couldn't point. We had to gesture. And yeah, okay. It was serious business. What was I talking about? Oh, so I'm used to knowing about the campus and stuff like that. And because I was part of the admissions office, you know, doing tours and stuff, like I still have connections there, right? So I was about to text one of the like longtime admission counselors the other day because I was reading this story about this student, and then I saw Chapman University and I was like, oh. Also, like, ow, just rolled over my foot. I'm part of the like president's cabinet commission thing. So I've had like conversations with the president of the school, especially like about like more diversity stuff, and there was this long big thing that I was involved in where we did a protest on campus, and it was intense. Anyway, so he like kind of apologized for that. Like he wasn't even the president at that point. Anyway, so I was reading this story, and there is a student who requested housing that would accommodate her disability. And she needed a shower, right? Instead of a like bathtub, because she's in a wheelchair. And so it was just gonna be easier for her to a shower, right? So she like literally rolls into her room and they gave her a bathtub. It's like, she didn't want this as a preference, it was a need. And they were like, yeah girl, here's your bathtub. Like, did you read the application incorrectly or something? Or did you even read the housing application? So she's all up in, you know, the news stories, calling them out, and I'm like, as you should. So that's one reason why I didn't reach out to the admissions counselor, because they're probably having to deal with that. I'm just wanting the tea on how y'all messed up like that. Okay, here's the Koi palette. What do I, oh, you can see me. No, that, okay, never mind. Maybe this one. This looks like it has some sort of duochrome thing going on. But the thing is, I don't know if you all have experienced this or if you're paying attention to it, but there are like housing problems with universities. So a lot of these kids, well, okay, so there's like a backlog a little bit, right? Because of the pandemic. So some people like put their education on hold for a little bit, and now folks are coming back, although so is the pandemic. But so they're going to school, and I don't know about you, if you went to university, like I lived on campus. Like I lived on campus the whole time. I was in the dorms for the first 2 years, and then I was in the on-campus apartments. But I didn't worry about staying on campus. I was like, this is the only option I have. Like I can't be at home. But now these kids are coming, and there's no room. There's literally no room for them at the college that they're attending. There's no housing room. So people are sending their kids to school and then realizing you don't have nowhere to stay. So they are like, some of the places, like I know, was it UC Berkeley? I think so, in Northern Cal. And some of the students are like, we have nowhere to go, we have nowhere to stay, and we have to get an apartment. And if you know anything about California, it's hella expensive, right? So now these parents are trying to figure out, how are we going to pay thousands of dollars a month for my child to have a bed to sleep in? And then there are some other schools who are setting up, like they've gotten deals with hotels and stuff, where the students will be put into hotels, like hotel rooms. And then there's another school who's like pulling out trailers for the students to live in. And somebody was like, is this a trailer? And they're like, no, it is a mobile housing device. And so not only are these kids having to adjust to college, but also they don't have nowhere to go. Like some of these kids are actually unhoused. Like how is that? That's not something I imagine that parents want to be worrying about when they're sending their kid to college. I just thought that was so interesting. Like these students are really dealing with a lot. Like I know I just didn't have to worry. I was just worried about, am I going to get the residence hall that I want, that I like, you know? So it's just, I feel really bad for them. And I wouldn't believe that this was happening, except one of my clients had to be in a hotel for like half the semester. And you might think that that's cool, right? When I think about it, I'm like, oh, yes. But no, like when you go to college, you want like that connection. You like want that experience of living in the dorms. That's where all your friends are. And usually the hotels aren't super duper close to the campus. So I read about one school where there was one shuttle that would take people back and forth from the campus. They would go at 8 a.m. and they would only come back at 8 p.m. So you have to be on campus for 12 hours because the shuttle only runs twice a day. So I don't know. I just feel bad for these kids coming, and they just like have nowhere to go, nowhere to sleep. And even if they do end up having somewhere to sleep, it's super, like, it's an inconvenience for sure. Then the other thing I was talking to my own doctor about is that there is a shortage on ADHD medications. That's not good. That is just not good. Like, the thing is with ADHD, like sometimes people don't realize that they have that diagnosis until like they start being unable to do stuff. So I often see kids who are just coming out of high school and they're like, I don't know why I can't focus. I get so distracted. I'm not doing well academically, and I always used to. Once we like rule out depression and stuff, oftentimes I'm like, it may be ADHD. And it's ADHD meds are one of those meds that are, it's like fast acting. Like you'll get the benefits of it pretty quickly, unlike antidepressants where it kind of has to build up in your system. Anyway, so now these kids who need the ADHD meds, because also if you didn't know, there's adult onset ADHD, so you could get through everything, and usually folks like acclimate to things, and they just have like tips and tricks that help them do stuff. But like when they go into a different stage of their life, then they're like, what's happening? Like if you're an adult and you just are always losing things, you have no real like good sense of time, just like all these things, like you're forgetting to pay your bills. Like sometimes you rule out like stress and burnout and depression, and then it's like, could be ADHD. The other thing is ADHD testing is hella expensive. It's real expensive, and most insurance companies don't pay for it. So anyway, there are some times where you could go to a psychiatrist and they just sort of are like, yeah, it does seem like ADHD, but oftentimes you need to get like a full-on battery of tests from a psychometrist. But anyway, so people who are needing these meds just aren't getting them. And I think that is going to be a full-on crap show. I don't think it's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be good. So there are just so many things going on with these kids. And yes, they are kids. They are children. I know that a lot of my college students are like, I'm an adult. I'm like, girl, like kind of, like you can like vote and stuff, and like technically the government calls you an adult, but like you're still a baby. I wish I knew that when I was growing up, but I don't know that I thought I was like a big time adult at 18. And then my crazy nerdish behind, I went to grad school, to PhD school when I was 21. I was a baby. Anyway, there's just like a lot going on with college students, and I mean, I think also younger students, but you know, if you have a college age kid and they are going to university, maybe have some empathy for them right now. Poor babies. So continuing on with the school stuff, like I was reading something about teachers. If you've heard before me say like teachers are underappreciated, they don't make enough money, it's kind of ridiculous. They are some of the most important people in our society. They are literally teaching humans to like learn stuff, you know? So some of these teachers were just like talking about the fact that they have to have a side hustle. So they can't just be a teacher. They are often like being baristas and like working at clothing stores. And to me, that feels really ridiculous. Like, they shouldn't have to do that. They just shouldn't have to do that. I mean, in all honesty, I think a lot of people have to have a side job. But after you go through all this schooling, you get certified, you're a teacher, which again, I feel like is one of the most necessary and important obligations or careers in our society, and you have to work at Starbucks on the weekends. That just feels not right. That just feels not right. So just, and you know, the kids these days, they be acting out up in them schools, and teachers have to be babysitters. They have to be disciplinarians. I've heard of teachers having to do kids' hair. Like, they didn't sign up for that. They signed up to teach. And, you know, all those stories of like teachers being punched and hit and kicked, and that just seems so wrong. I don't know why we devalue teachers like that. I just feel like I couldn't do it. I couldn't be a teacher. I sometimes teach like some grad school courses, and when I tell you I hate it, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. I don't like people looking at me all like confused, and I don't like people not raising their hand and talking. I don't like people not being part of the discussion. Like, I don't like it. I don't want to do it. I mean, sometimes I enjoy the content. Like, I taught a multicultural counseling course to like first year PhD students. Like, I love the content. I just don't like the teaching part. I'd rather write an article for a journal. I just don't want to do it. And then you have to like grade their papers. And I always tell my students, like, if I have to read it, you have to read it. So please make sure that you check the grammar and punctuation and all that stuff. And the papers that I would get, granted, I am a tough grader. I think sometimes people don't recognize it just because I'm like all fun and bubbly and like, you know, but when it comes to like educational things, or even with my supervisees, I'm like, I'm gonna need you to have your notes done in 24 hours. Like, you know, I'm on people. That's just how I operate. So yeah, you're gonna get the fun, like, oh my god, tea, let's talk about Taylor Swift stuff, but also I'm gonna need you to have your stuff together. So I don't know, I commend anyone who is a teacher. I have several friends who are teachers, and especially a lot of the teachers I know work within the special education area. And I'm just like, y'all, like, thank you so much. What you can do to help a teacher, y'all, is to go onto Amazon and look up, like, a lot of teachers are now putting their lists on Amazon so you can like purchase stuff for them, because teachers often have to buy their own supplies. I don't think it's enough for us to give them a $5 Starbucks card at the end of the semester anymore. First of all, $5 ain't gonna buy you nothing at Starbucks. And like, just buy a box of pencils and some Kleenex or something for the classroom. Like, do that. That don't make no damn sense. Speaking of not making any damn sense, I was reading about this graduate student. I think she has a class like once a week or something, and it's at her like all-time favorite school. Here's the thing though, the school is nowhere like near her. She has to fly to the school. She takes a flight. Basically, she commutes to class by plane. And the reason she's doing that, she said, is because this is her dream school and she doesn't care how far it is, but she also says that it's really expensive. My thinking, here's my Danessa Myricks blurring balm. My thinking is, you know, great, I got into my dream school, but also it's a couple states away. I feel like I can't do it. And the reason why she can't like move is because she has a job like in New York or something. I don't know, where's the school at? It's not that bad of a flight. It's to Chicago. But it's still like, you have to actually get on a plane. You have to go to the airport and get on a plane to get to your school. Who has that kind of disposable income? I don't. I could barely drive to like work and stuff with gas being like $4. So I'm just like, that don't, nobody told her that was stupid. Like, you're going to like this top school, but you're like flying there every week. Like, is it worth it? I don't think I would do that. I don't think I would do it. I think I would just be like, man, that really sucks. I really want to go to this school, but I can't afford to fly there every week. Not to mention, it's New York, and there are some great schools out there as well. So I'm like, girl, if you're so pressed, go to Columbia or something. Go to NYU. Like, there are so many schools out there you can go to. Like, go to Yale in Connecticut. Like, there's so many schools you could go to without having to get on a plane every couple of days. This is the CoverFX foundation. I actually am appreciating the packaging because it's slim enough for me to just put it in my bag. I sound like you're a grad student, and it feels like this is a really poor choice. Speaking of grad students, So there was this student, I think a chemistry student, living in an apartment, right? And he was getting upset at the people, I think they were above him, maybe above or below, I don't know. But he claims that he would hear their toilet running a lot. And so he goes to talk to them, and he's like, please stop having your toilet running. And I think the people, it was a family, they were trying to be accommodating. And then they start to realize that they're getting sick a lot, like sort of like sluggish and like no energy, like just feeling like really ill. Like, what is happening? So like I said, the family started experiencing various symptoms, dizziness, like vomiting, headaches, all this stuff. And it's like, what the hell is happening? So they thought maybe it was something with their AC. And so they had that checked out. And then people are like, there's nothing wrong with your AC. It's fine. And they're like, okay, so what's going on? The other thing is they were smelling like like some sort of odor in their home. So one of the people in the apartment, it was a little family. It was a mother, father, and a child. The father decided to put like a little surveillance camera at the front of their door, because they're like, something is going on. Now, this graduate student was getting his PhD in chemistry. And on the camera, the apartment camera, the dad sees that the chemistry student is coming upstairs, and he has a syringe, and he's like squeezing the syringe under the door. Girl, come to find out, it's a mixture of chemicals that he put together because he's a chemistry person. He put it together in the lab at school, and then he would come home and just inject the thing into like under their door. So that's why they were getting sick, because he was literally poisoning them. Like, who does that? Tell me who does that. Like, we all have had annoying neighbors, right? Have you had annoying neighbors? When I was in my apartment, sometimes I had to go upstairs because I asked the guy one time, like, are you tap dancing in some military boots? Are you moving bodies around? Like, what is happening? Why is it so loud up here? And, you know, he would try to accommodate, I guess. I think everyone tries to do that, right? But this man thought that he would just take it into his own hands. You know, in some ways, I'm like, you know what? Grad school is stressful. Like, sometimes you just lose your mind a little bit. But y'all, you can't be over here trying to kill people. Like, that is not good. So apparently the stuff he was spraying under the door was a mixture of opioids. It was methadone, methadone, hydrocodone, and I don't know what else. But if you like, the police and firefighters came to check things out, and when they got in when they touched the material, they started breaking out in rashes and stuff. So basically, it's hazardous material and toxins that he was spraying under these people's door. He had to have known that it was gonna kill these folk. He's a chemistry person. Like, he had to have known. And now the school is like, he is no longer a student at this university. As he should not be. Like, come on, sir. How you gonna do that? That don't make no damn sense. So I'm gonna go in with the NYX Wonder Stick because I forgot my other bronzer contour things. Yeah. But you know what? People are losing it. People are losing their minds, okay? There was a story about this woman who, she put together this charity event to help, remember the big old wildfires, I think in Australia, like a couple years ago. So she's like, you know, we're continuing to support folks, so let's go ahead and have a charity event. People can donate. So she was able to get $43,000 in donations, which is great, right? Then all of a sudden people see her like getting new cars, getting her hair and nails done, and wondering about the money that she was supposed to donate. But homegirl was like, I did donate $13, not $13,000, $13. So she took all the rest of that money for herself to get her hair did, to get her nails did, to buy a new car. How you gonna do that? $13? That's an insult. You should have just kept it and spent the whole $43,000. Like, because that's an insult to give me $13. Like you might as well, you know how people, you have that person in the family who first of all put their dirty lips on the bottle of juice and then they leave like a swig left. This is an insult. Drink the whole thing, okay? Just drink the rest of it. And so it feels like this lady, like, just spend the whole $43,000, okay? Just spend the whole thing, because you over here giving me $13. Girl, what am I gonna do with that? Just spend the whole thing. I don't know why. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't even 13. It was $12.80. You janky bitch. You janky bitch. She bought a rug. She bought a treadmill. Homegirl was living her best life while spending these people money. That janky bitch. I'm like done. I mean, now you in trouble. I'm gonna go in with this NYX blush in Bang Bang. Bang Bang. I know you want it. Bang Bang. Bang Bang Bang. Bang Bang Bang. Bang Bang. $12.80. You couldn't even add the other 20 cents to make it 13. That's even more of an insult. Like, at least round it out. But you over here buying a rug and a treadmill, getting your hair done, getting your nails done. And people are over here like, where did that money go? Like, she might as well have she should have just did a GoFundMe for herself. Just be like, hey, y'all, I really want to get my hair done. I really want a treadmill. You know, like, people would have donated because people donate for everything. But no, you decided to dupe people into donating to charity. And I guess you considered yourself the charity. I guess so. That's shady as all get out. All right, let me finish things up and I'll come back and wrap everything. So here is the finished look. Now in terms of shoes, I'm deciding on these or one of the shoes I leave in my office. These. So they're super similar. This one's shiny, this one's matte. This one's like a little sexier. Not that I'm trying to be sexy. So I'll probably wear these. Okay, thanks for sticking it out with me in my not so great mood. I do have a semi-full day today. Hopefully everyone shows up. Anyways, I think that is it. I hope that some of this was helpful. I also hope that you and I are continuing to take care of ourselves. Make sure to like the video with that thumbs up. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me if you've got any news stories to share. Update on the lady who allegedly poisoned her in-laws. Nothing else has really happened so far, but there has been a decrease in mushroom sales. Now she's affecting the economy. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.